not like giving any throttle to this, right? So your RPM is on 1.5 that front, so you have that confidence that if you will apply the brake, the bike will not split. This was example. Everyone, today I've came with the new review of a very known vehicle, that is Bajaj Pulsar NS 160, the new color, the new matte color finishing that this have. So this is approximately a 6 months old bike, so I'll be doing the review of this bike in this video. So if you are someone looking to get an NS, or if you are owning the NS, so some of the tips also I'll give you to how to maintain the bike in the best possible way. So all the things I'm going to cover in this video, so if you are someone interested in the video, then stay tuned till the end. This is the all new NS 160 and we are gonna do the review of this machine, especially particularly in this video. So if you're someone looking for the NS to buy it, or if you are owning it, so do check out this video. This is going to be super interesting for you and super helpful for you if you have any questions regarding this particular machine. Let's get started. I'll be sort of giving this video like an ownership review because I've been owning this vehicle for approx 6 months, so I'm not comfortable sharing my number of my bike, so don't mind it. I've just sort of done a taping on it so that the number is not visible. So yeah, I'm not comfortable to basically I thought that I should not show it to you guys otherwise. So this bike is 6 months old. This is the 160 model and compliant with the BS6 engine in that, and this is a oil cooled engine, and this is 160, and yeah, this was the model. Basically none of the other models comes in. You have 125, then you have 160, and then you have 200 with the same looks. Enjoy the cinematic of this Bajaj Pulsar, then we'll straight away jump into the review of this bike. I'll start with the disadvantages of this vehicle with the cons of this vehicle. Probably people start with the advantages, but I'm slightly different, so I'll be starting with the disadvantages so that I can give you the sort of more professional cinematic shots. But the best I can do is I have done it. So let's start the review. First of all, this is 6 months old bike, and we're gonna start with the ownership review. So firstly, I'll talk about the pros and the cons about this vehicle personally, what I faced. I'll be giving a very genuine review because I'm owning it, and the bike reviews can be given by the owners are the best thing, right? If someone is owning a bike or someone is owning a particular product, and if you'll ask from that person how's your experience, so that is the best part, instead of asking from the company or instead of asking from the showroom, right? So I think I'm the right person to give you the review of this bike because I'm owning it for approx 6 months, I would say, and ridden it for approx 3,000 kilometers. I know it is slightly lesser compared to sort of where people drive it more like 1,000, 8,000 kilometers in 3 months or 6 months or 8 months, but I have driven it 3,000. I haven't taken it to the long trips, but this machine is for my daily commuting. For the long trips I usually prefer cars just for the convenient of being comfortable, but elsewise my daily commuting is with this vehicle. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. So the disadvantages are that firstly I would consider this the front halogen light that you have. It somehow had a great look. We'll talk later on that, but essentially owning this bike in year 2022 with the same looks that is being provided by Bajaj back in 2015, so that is fine because the looks are too aggressive and people are still crazy for this look, but not giving any update in the bike, that is not something we were expecting from Bajaj. Essentially this is 2021 model, and the same model comes in 2022, and probably they'll continue till 2023 and 2024. So what I can think is they should give the LEDs now. This is the drawback that I face. Like suppose if I'm cruising it for more than 40-45 minutes continuously, so what happens is this got heated, and seriously it heats very much. Once you touch it, you couldn't hold your hand for more than 30 seconds in that because your hand burns, you feel like it is burning. So that is the thing. So at least they should give that LED setup in the front and back too. I'm not asking to give LED indicators, but that is optional, but giving LED halogens is must. Activa, all these scooties are coming up with the LED headlamps, so why don't Bajaj is not doing this? It's not something that Bajaj is not doing in all their vehicles. They are doing in Domina, they are doing in RS, and even the lower segment bikes they are doing that too. But specifically in NS they haven't done it. I don't know why. I know that don't affect the sale of Bajaj just because the LED people don't it's not that people don't prefer this vehicle, but it is something would be more convenient for the users who or the people who are purchasing this. LED are something that is LED time, and it is more trending in the market, so at least Bajaj have to do this. And we are not expecting to give LED indicators or backlight, but giving LEDs at the front is something that Bajaj has to do. Second drawback of this vehicle is, personally for me, I don't think it would be for everyone, but for me it is that the front wheel, I've considered front and back two, we'll talk later on that, but front wheel is somehow I considered that is slightly thinner. It is, if I'm not wrong, I don't remember the numbers, but I think it is 90 section tires, the front one, and back is 120, correct me if I'm wrong. So this is something that they have to give it slightly wider tires in this one. Yeah, it is 90 by 90, you can see here. It is 90 by 90, yeah. So at least Bajaj should give that wider tires in this one, because their competitors are giving it, and this is a sports machine, so at least if you'll give a more wider tires, that will had a sort of good grip on the roads. So the same thing happens with the back one also. In the back they give 120 section tires. It is good compared to the it is good, I'm not saying that it is good, not good on roads and all. It has the good grips and all, but essentially giving 130 or 140 section tire will definitely enhance the look of this. They give probably 130 or 140 section tires on 200, but not in 160. And if you go one more lower segment, 125 NS, they'll go, I think they give 120 or 110 section tires. So that is the thing, but essentially they have to increase the tire size at least to 130 or 135 or probably 140. So that is something Bajaj should work on. These are the two major disadvantages that I face. Now we'll move out to the third disadvantages. Actually, I have to think multiple times about the sort of disadvantages. So another disadvantage that I have came up with is that outdated instrument cluster. They have not given any update in the instrument cluster looking at the past 3-4 years, and that is required basically in Bajaj, specifically for NS. Not in NS and RS both, they are giving Domina. They have sort of improved the instrument cluster. That is the latest one looking at the market trend, but considering this one, this is not the latest. You get some of the indication that service required and all that basic things are visible, but you don't get to see the gear indicator or a lot of things are there, like mileage and all that things which are shown in the instrument cluster. Those are not visible, so that somehow reduces the convenience of the user who are driving this vehicle. So that is something. Otherwise, these are some drawbacks that I face. So in working on their instrument cluster is really crucial for Bajaj right now, because now it is, being very honest, it is outdated, and this has to be worked. Another disadvantage I would not consider, it is a sort of thing, if you are getting this bike you should consider this, that if you are a guy who sort of have a family, or if you want to you have that 3 members in a family, like you, your wife, or probably anyone, and you have one child as well, so it would be difficult for them to get seated here because it is a split seat. So probably it is good for students, it is good for your riders, but not for adulthood, because that is not a family bike basically. So it is difficult for my mom to sometimes sit on this, because this is so narrow, not so comfortable for the pillion, but super comfortable for the rider. So basically these bikes are built not for the family purposes and all, for the riding and to have a sort of sporty look. That's why they give these all split seats. Otherwise the main purpose is not family purposes. So it is not for everyone, as I've told earlier, that if you are a student or if you are someone 20-26 aged, then that is fine. But if you're a guy like 40-45, you had your own family, so probably it would be difficult for you to ride it at a certain time. So this thing you have to consider while getting this bike. After this, as such, I don't think that any other problem I face in this vehicle, because I've been driving it. I don't think that any other problems are there that I can share with you. So straight away we'll jump to the advantages of this vehicle. Number one advantage of this vehicle is this look, man. Oh my god, I can fall my hurt, I can give my hurt to this looks, man. I have I'm completely fallen with the look of Bajaj Pulsar NS 160 or 200. This white alloys, it doesn't look good to everyone. Like if you consider the market scenario, like 60% of the people would go against with this alloy wheels because this is white. But it's my personal choice. It looks good on this red color. It didn't look good on gray one, but talking about the red color and the white combination, it is pretty good. I think Bajaj has again launched the black option, wherein you had an option if you want to get white or black, it's up to you. But essentially for my personal preference, white looks really good. It gives you more sporty look, right? So that is the thing. Looks is incredible, man, super incredible. You know, this if you want to change it, you can get it tail tidy, but that is not allowed by my parents, so I'll not do it probably. But yeah, looks is incredible, man, I must say. This back pillion seat height and all, and this matte finishing color is super good, I would say. Looks is something that is the priority of everyone who is getting this vehicle, and it is, you can consider this look was launched back in 2015 or 16. I'm not exactly remembering, but probably this look is 5-year old. They are just giving a slightly enhanced improvement in the looks and design, and they are still leading the market. So that is the thing, Bajaj Pulsar NS looks is incredible. Another advantage of this machine is the power, I would say. This has that 161cc engine. It's an oil cooled engine, not a liquid cooling, but I don't think in liquid cooling 160cc liquid cooling is required at all. But yeah, this has 161 point something cc engine, and the power is, if I'm not wrong, 17.5 bhp, and that is super good. I must say this bike becomes different if you go beyond 6000 rpm. Like if you drive it under 60 or 70 or 65, you will feel that this is a normal bike, man. This is a normal bike, like all 150 160cc bike. But once you cruise this beyond 6000 rpms, the sound of exhaust that comes up, man, that is hurt taking. Seriously, that is hurt taking. So I don't have that all GoPro setup, else I would show you that how that sound looks. But basically, you know, cruising it and throttling it more than 6000 rpm, you know, you had a different experience with this machine. And actually, one of my very close friend owns MT-15, so we had a sort of small drag race. But essentially 155cc engine MT is more powerful than this one, but the kind of competition it is given, man, that is truly incredible. Looking at the difference in the price, that is truly nice. So yeah, definitely the power is great. Cruising, it is not leading the segment in initial, right? I have compared with various other competitors. I'll not take the name probably, but it is not leading in the segment for that initial pickup. NS is not known for the pickup. Apaches are known for the pickup, but talking about the mid and top range, this machine is incredible. I'm guaranteeing you couldn't complain it if you cruise it at 100, 120, 125. This bike will not disappoint you at all, because the engine becomes different. Seriously, what I face is after 6500 or 6800 rpm or even 6000 rpm, the engine becomes completely different. It's like that the different mode has installed in it. Till 5500 rpm, it seems like a normal engine, but once you go beyond 6000 rpm, and this bikes become completely like you have gone in aggressive mode. It don't have that modes and all, but initially there would be something that it got changes. But yeah, that is really nice. Really appreciate the power of this in the mid and top end, not in initial. Another advantage that I'll be talking about this bike in this video is the braking. I know braking is not something that everyone focuses on, but basically it is important. It is super important once you are cruising at more than 80, 85. So the braking part becomes very important. It didn't have that dual channel ABS support here in this one. You have only front ABS. I'll show you. It didn't have in back, but it have in front, right? So you can see the ABS light also indicates here. Here you can see, right? So it didn't have ABS on the back, but front ABS is enough for this machine till now. I know 200cc have that ABS or not, if I'm not confirming it, but probably it must have, right? So braking is super good, man. Like you are cruising at 70, 75 and suddenly anything comes up in your front, so you have that confidence that if you will apply the brake, the bike will not split, or the bike will not sort of get in that difficult or uncomfortable mode. It gives you that confidence. So that is really appreciating, man. Braking are super, sort of, if you have that confidence confident on your braking on your bike now, so you can like give a full throttle suddenly, and you know that brake is there to help you out in that. So that is really good part. Recently an incident happened with me that I was cruising at 83, 84. I'm pretty sure that it was 83, and suddenly what happened is a guy in from a cycle came in front of me rapidly. Suddenly he came in front, and believe me, I got in love with the brakes at that point of time, because suddenly I pushed the back and front brakes like simultaneously together, and the response was incredible. That's why I'm in love with this machine. I'm in love with this braking of this bike. Now I'll be talking in general about this bike, right? And these are some pros and cons that I have already told you. Now the most important thing of the bike that comes up is the mileage, right? Now, like whatever segment you choose, whatever option you have, you're some kind of your priority, some part of priority is towards the mileage of the bikes, right? Because essentially that is the most important thing, because if you get a bike and you will not able to fuel it often, so it doesn't make any sense to get it, right? So talking about the mileage, actually the mileage has been purely tested, right? It's not that I'm giving the assumptions and all that, yeah, this have that mileage. I purely tested the mileage of this machine, and I would say I'm easily getting like 37 to 38 kilometers. Like when I get more enthusiastic, I get 35, 34, not less than that. But yeah, 37 to 38 is the mileage that you can consider for this particular machine, because this is the 160. And basically, very honest with you, if you drive such bikes now, you will not consider about the mileage is not something that you will look for, right? If you want to get a mileage, you can go for 125. That will give you easily 50 mileage kmph liter. But these bikes are built for performance. These 160, 200, these are built for the performance. So that's why 135, 38, 39, it is, I think, good for this particular bike, looking at the performance at all. Yeah. Now time to check the exhaust note of this bike, because I have to properly sit on this to sort of start it, because it don't start it because of that feature. So once you sit in this, definitely you're gonna have that sporty look. Your back is straight, you don't have to bend even a 1% to drive it. If you're tall, then you have to bend it, but my height is 5.11, so I don't have to bend even a 1%. So that is the great thing. So let's give the self. Oh. Yeah, so if you are not like giving any throttle to this, right, so your RPM is on 1.5, that means 1500 RPMs is there. In a lot of bikes it has 300 or 2.500, but in this your RPM limit is low, so that is good. It didn't give you the vibration and all. And the best part of Bajaj is that they give that key lightning. You can see here the key lightning that they give, which looks super nice. Yeah, they give in the KTMs and all, but KTM also gives it and Bajaj also gives. None of the other bikes give it right now, so that doesn't look good right now, but in nights if you see, it looks super nice, right? And you have that mirrors which give you a better look, and this quality of the mirror is good, I would say. And it's not that a slim pipe coming up and the mirror, it has that sportiness in that. So everywhere the Bajaj is working on this. Yeah, you had that RPM limit. If you go beyond, I guess, 7 to 8,000 RPM, this light will indicate you. And talking about the exhaust, so you can hear it. This was the exhaust note. I'll not do more because my society will come and see what is happening. So yeah, this was the review. Now talking about the second most important thing, which is the service of the bikes. Whenever you get a new bike, after several getting done with several kilometers, you have to take your bike for a service, right? In this I've got done 3 free services, and this bike is giving me a reminder that you have to do my service again. See here, this is a reminder of the service that it gives. So yeah, this is giving me the reminder that you have to do my service. I'm not feeling well, you have to take me to the doctor. So yeah, I'll probably take her to the doctor soon. But essentially talking about the services and all, service was good. I would not say the Bajaj guys were super responsive or was super humble. Even we could not expect that. Yeah, Indian audience, sort of unnecessary questions they ask about the bikes, like whatever small things happen, they take there to the showroom. And seriously, people complain about the service and all. Just keep yourself at that place, right? And then think about their perspective, like how they feel, right? So I'll not complain it, but I'll be very honest that they were not so humble, that whatever things I'm telling, only they were doing that too in a longer time. I was saying that I'm here, do the service, I'll wait for 2-3 hours, whatever time you'll take, you can do it. So they said no sir, lots of lines are there, that basic general things they used to say. So they said me, you leave the bike, give the keys to us, and they'll do. So I don't know what have they done with my bike, or who are the people who have done my services, but service was good. The first service charged me approximately, I'm not exactly remembering, so I'll not comfortable sharing the numbers because that might create a difference, give you a different. Why would, if I don't have the knowledge, why should I share with you? But I have just confirmed right now that the next service I have to do is, it would be done at 12 to 1300 was the charge of this one, because they'll change the complete engine oil and the labor charges they'll include. So labor charges that I'm getting in Lucknow is 535. So I think that would be convenient. I feel it is slightly high, on the higher side, looking at the bikes and all. It's not a super bike that you are charging that amount of money, but 400 or 3.380 would be sufficient, but they're charging 500, let's say 550. So that is something I feel slightly high, but anyway, that is fine. That is all about the services and all. Special part about this bike is that it have that underbelly exhaust here. You can see a lot of people say that this bikes look pretty narrow from both the sides because it didn't have that exhaust and all. So it's all about the personal preference, but I am completely in loving with this underbelly exhaust. And people say that you don't have exhaust here, you have exhaust here, so slightly you'll get lower exhaust sound, but that doesn't happen. But that is a thing. But essentially this exhaust was here with the full pipe setup and like in all the bikes, so definitely the exhaust sound would be greater, but it had that underbelly exhaust. And sometimes once you are cruising it and any breakers comes up, so your bike touches it, so ground clearance is not that great, I would say. But yeah, you have to be very you have to be super careful while you are taking this, or you are approaching throughout the breakers, because you have to take that way, not a straight away. You have to take that way and then access the breakers, because sometimes it touches that ground, and there you have the exhaust, so you couldn't take the risk. So that is the thing. That is not normal bikes wherein you can just approach the breakers. You have to be super serious, super active to approach the breakers and all. I think you hear the exhaust sound of this bike later on, because you have that side stand cut off feature, so I couldn't take the self, right? You can see that I couldn't take the self because of the side stand, so I'll take it later on. I don't have the GoPro setup, else I'll show you the proper ride. But talking about the top speed of this machine, I would say it easily reaches up to 125. You have to like do the split and all that, you have to make your gesture more sportiness. You have to make a sort of sit like split, and then you can access to 130. I am not pretty sure about that, but 125 is something that you can easily get the top speed of this machine on the highways and all. I'll not suggest you to do that. Even I have also not done. The high speed that I have taken is 113, not more than that. And yeah, I don't recommend you to try it out. You can, if you want to essentially check out the top speeds of the bikes, you can do that YouTube and you can check that out. So this was my full review about this particular machine. Still, if you have any questions, I've tried to give my best to complete all the aspects, to talk on all the aspects that is there on a particular bike, especially in this one. So still, if you have any question, that you can definitely ping me up into the comment sections. I will be happy to respond to all of your questions about this bike. And this 6 months ownership, talking about my conclusion of the video, I'm pretty satisfied, yeah. Pretty satisfied. The kind of looks it have, the kind of attractions I got from the people, if you are cruising that into the city, people see what people know, that some people know that it is NX, but this new color combination make you different from the bikes available into the market, right? So basically the looks is good, you have the reliability of Bajaj, you have that great engine, but you don't have the LEDs. And also Bajaj, if you're looking to this video, you need to work on this. We are your customers and we are still feeling outdated in the market. The throw is also not good. Obviously it's an halogen, so if you compare the throw of LED and a halogen, obviously LED leads up. But yeah, this is the front look, and yeah, it looks great, man. It looks great. So yeah, still you have any questions about this bike? I have tried to cover all the things, so I still have your questions. This looks more good. This looks like a Duke KTM side mirrors. So still you have any questions, you can ping me up into the comment sections. I'll be super happy to respond all of your question, guys. So this was YouTube channel Mr. Reviewer, the review of NS160. Thank you for the watching. Bye. One more thing, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do subscribe to the channel to sort of get more interesting contents related to the automobile. Signing off. Bye bye.